Hey, everybody, and welcome to part two of my reaction to the second side of Moving Pictures from Rush. Just listen to the last three tracks on that album. Absolutely fantastic. Listen to those all the way through, you guys. If you want to see that, that is part one. Link is in the description below. Right now, we're just going to kind of talk about the tracks, break them down a little bit. So, first, we got to talk about the camera eye. Now, first of all, that's a pretty long track. Feels shorter than it actually is, as is so often the case with Rush songs. I know I've said that before. They don't feel as long as they actually are, which is a good thing because it's a sign that they're doing everything right and it's not getting repetitive or boring in a sense. Of some songs, it's like this song, like they needed to end this. I think I said this to my wife the other day. I don't remember what the song was, but I'm like, this song needed to end 2 minutes ago to be perfect because it can just get kind of repetitive. But this song, like, first of all, their intro is as long as like a normal modern day, pop song, 3 something minutes, almost 3.5 minutes. And that's just like the build up. Like the main groove hasn't even started. They haven't even started singing yet. It's crazy that you can have like a song's worth of material just for an intro, which is awesome. Now, before I get all sidetracked, the solo, and gonna be totally honest, not my favorite Alex Lifeson solo. In the beginning of it, the tone, the guitar tone shifted, um, definitely from what I would have expected. You know, his rhythm guitar tone has all these effects and pretty fat sound. So I would have expected something that cuts through a little bit more. Now, I don't want to say I dislike it. I want to say I need to hear it again. Oftentimes I'll play something over multiple times before I'm like, okay, yeah, that really, really works. But low gain guitar sound. Some of the notes are picked pretty forcefully, so they stand out and they pop a lot. And then of course there's those harmonics in there that he does, which are really cool. So yeah, definitely not ragging on it at all. Man, a 10.5 minute song, and try and summarize it and sum it up. I think the thing that I used to listen to these with the lyrics on screen and try and follow along with that. I found that a lot of times I would end up focusing a lot more on the lyrics, and as a guitar player, I want to hear the whole package. So I'm not going to try and analyze lyrics and stuff like that, but what I will analyze is the layering in this song is perfectly majestic and just incredible. It keeps building up. You think that they're not going to add anything else, and there's something really subtle in the background, maybe panned off to the side, and it just creates more, I've probably used this term before, but just body, a lot of volume, spatial volume to their songs. That's just, you don't get a lot of that. And sometimes when bands try and do it, it can be really muddied up quite a bit. But again, as I said when I listened to the first side of this album, the production is just absolutely top notch. I mean, just perfection. The mixing on this is just continually blowing my mind with how good it is. With how much clarity I can hear every single part, and yet if I want to hear another part, it's not like no part's drowning any part out. A lot of times you'll hear something, it's right there front and center, you hear it, and then you really have to strain to hear maybe another layer or another rhythm track or whatever. But this, it's like I can jump between whatever part of the song I want to listen to, and I don't have to strain to hear anything, but I can still hear everything else really well whenever whether I focus on the drums, the rhythm, the keys, hopefully that makes sense what I'm trying to say. But it's just so well balanced that It's just an absolute thing of beauty. And also, Geddy Lee's voice on this, he has some of these high runs and stuff that he does. I just love that. To me, that's just, it's classic. Very, very well done. I love when he sings high like that, especially when it's pretty sharp and abrupt phrasing. I think that's really cool. And that was something I really liked about this song as well. Okay, next up on the album, we've got Witch Hunt. And all I can say is, holy crap, that it's so good. I mean, how you can go from, the camera eye to this song, totally different. That the rhythm guitar in that, man, the way it just kind of bounces back and forth and it modulates, and it's changing keys and it's changing feels, and it's just, man, when you listen to music, it's like trying to explain, like, what love is, right? It's like, well, I feel it, but I don't know how to put it into words. That's how music is. Like, how do you describe what music makes you feel, right? Because everyone feels it differently. And I try my best for you guys. I hope that, I hope the expressions and the sheer shock on my face sometimes is enough, because I feel like the words don't really do it justice. Um, Man, I don't even know one thing to pinpoint. I guess just the rhythm of that song and the bass grooving in the background. And this band is so good, and there's so much going on, like, in the forefront sometimes. Getty's singing is so awesome. Alex Lifeson's playing is so good. It's so easy sometimes to overlook how incredibly good Neil is. Like, I don't mean that as like you just overlook it and you're not paying attention to it. I mean, when you kind of dial in on his playing, you're going, wow, this man is doing so much, but it's right there, just making the song so much better, like not taking away from anything. It's just, I mean, of course, you're talking about arguably the greatest drummer of all time. Of course he's good. Duh. But there's like, I say this all the time, a subdued nature to all of them that they just know what to do, even with a lot. Like, they can do a lot and play very technical stuff, but it's not overwhelming. Like, a lot of times you listen to a band and you're like, hey, just do less. Just sometimes do less. And you want that, right? You feel like bands are trying too hard. They do a lot, and it just works. I'm going to need to listen to that song again, because wow, so heavy, and the way that stuff, fades in, and the panning and all this, and beating a dead horse at this point, talking about the mixing and stuff, but this is a really good album, and that track might be there in contention with my favorite on it so far. Like, really, really good. The last track on the album is Vital Signs. And I've got to tell you, they saved the best for last. Yes, I said it. After listening to the album again, maybe I might change my mind, but you have to remember, this is like first time listening, initial reaction kind of thing. Something about that song just hits different. I mean, how how to even describe that song. Like, there's a definite reggae feel going on with, the tight rhythm section and the way that the rhythm is there. But then something about the way that that bass line and the synthesizers going with it, this is gonna sound maybe a little bit crazy, like a sci-fi feel, and it's like a movie soundtrack kind of feel to it. And now I'm sitting here going, I'm gonna have to listen to that song again because reggae, sci-fi, what are you even thinking right now, Tim? Um, but I mean that's incredible, but no clashing of like styles in a sense, like it. And the vocals on that song, wow. I mean, whatever effects they've got on the vocals. Jeez, man, I want to just stop this video and go listen to that song again right now. In fact, maybe the whole album. And I'm going to say this, like, I want to say this is peak Rush so far. It's got all the elements that I love about Rush. The songwriting, the technicality, some like longer songs, all these things. This whole album, it's got some catchy stuff. It's got some stuff that makes you think. It's got everything. And then of course, when you throw that production on there, it's like, I want to say this is like peak Rush for me. That's my opinion. This is a really, really, really good album. Now, I know when I listened to the first side, I said that Limelight was my favorite song on that. So now I'm having to think, do I like Limelight or Vital Signs more? I love them both. I'm familiar with Limelight, of course. But Vital Signs, after hearing it, one time, first time, only time, it really surprised me. And I might have to give that title of favorite track on the album to Vital Signs. And when I listened to the first side, I thought, hopefully the second side is as good because you got some bangers on the first side, some absolute just doozy tracks. Well, I might be sitting here going, is side 2 better? And I know that might be sacrilege, and of course, it probably is. You got YYZ, you got Tom Sawyer, you got Limelight, Red Barchetta, like incredible songs. So needless to say, I'm not gonna cause any division and say one side's better than the other. I'm gonna say the album as a whole is an absolute masterpiece. This has been an experience. I'm glad I'm back. I'm loving this. Discovering new music and sitting here and going, what in the world am I hearing, is just an absolute blast. And thank you guys for joining along for it. It's a lot of fun. You guys, I'm going to wrap this up. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I will be seeing you in future videos. Please leave me a like if you would. I'm sure if you've watched this far, you're probably already subscribed, but if not, go ahead and hit that little subscribe icon and leave me a comment if you would. You guys, thank you so much. Mind blown. Rush, absolute perfection, you guys. See you later.